Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here.
Yes,
I'm Ariel.
I'm Shia.
Today's episode theme is sensuality. It's kind of like senses, sensuality.
Yeah,
So,
rather than think about your life, how about experience it through your senses?
why not?
That sounds good.
I like it. Senses, touch, taste, smell, sight, hearing. Your world comes alive through your senses.
But no two things can occupy the same
You.
at the same time. And if you're busy thinking, your senses are shut down.
Mm. Too bad you guys can't be here to smell our tea. I love Bengal spice. It's got carob and it has
Cinnamon.
cinnamon. It just smells so earthy. And I really, slight sweet essence. It's one of our favorite uh, drinks, even during the summer. Although I have to say, it's a little bit more on a rainy day or a winter day as well. So, since you can't smell what we're up to, you could listen. You could use your ears. You can hear the quality of our voices and what we have to speak about.
Or you could listen to your thoughts about what we're saying.
Period.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
what's next?
As if that's what we're saying. Because see, problem with communication is we say what we say, and you interpret it through your meaning of those words, which may be very different. But if you truly listen, you'll get pulled into your life in the current moment.
Yeah.
And that's where transformation happens. And that's where your life is happening. Now, there's your thoughts about your life and those you've had before.
Recently at a Living Made Easy, one of the fellows who regularly comes on Monday, his name is David. So shout out to you, David. He was talking about listening to the cadence of people as they speak and the quality of their voices and how it allows him to synchronize not only with the person but with his life. Why not tonight, this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you are, you allow yourself to be here and synchronize and synchronize.
And listen to hear what people have to say rather than think about whether or not you agree with it, already know it. Oh, I've heard this before. Operate as though this moment is new. It is, if you're here for it.
Let's take our first guest, shall we?
Yeah.
All right, Christina, welcome to being here. Where are you zooming in from?
Hi there, it's Christina, and I'm zooming in from Berlin in Germany.
Nice. Nice to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Hmm.
As you were just introducing the topic, I had so many images and feelings coming to my conscience when you were just speaking about the cadence of voices. I was very much reminded of how, in my everyday work as a conference interpreter, I very much focus on the way people express themselves through their voices and how much this helps me to be where I am and how much I love listening to the sounds of their voices. And also, sometimes I find that even when I have some distant memory, I can still hear how somebody said a certain thing to me, even if it was years and decades ago. So if even that distant memory is so present, it is so much more present to listen to someone as I'm listening to them professionally or as I'm just listening to you talking in this conversation. I love this way my hearing sense can take me into the moment. And effectively, I used to think it was only my hearing that was my sensual level, more than even my vision or more than touch or smell. And just lately, I've been discovering how rich it is to perceive every moment with all my senses if I can.
Mm. Well, if you, well, as an interpreter, you probably have a natural affinity for listening and through the audio channel. So it's,
Yes, I do.
yeah, it's lovely that you can start including the other things such as your eyes and smell and touch and taste. It can all be developed. And as you're here, uh, things make a difference.
I actually, when I sort of prepared for, or when I thought about what I might want to speak about tonight or today for this podcast, it came to my mind that just yesterday I went hiking with a good friend of mine, and we were out all day in nature, and it was so great to feel the sunlight on my skin and to smell the flowers and the plants and to perceive the silence of the place and even to feel the pain in my hip or in my muscles after, I don't know, some 3 hours of walking straight. It was all an experience of which I felt that it was really taking me right into the moment, that moment in time. And I actually thought that in other times I might not even have thought that it is precisely the sensual experience that makes the moment so worthwhile before I got to know transformation. And now I feel it's somehow related.
Hmm. I have a question for you. You know that now that you're discovering all the different portals for being here and for sensuality, I'm wondering if you have the same sort of access or same sort of attention to listening uh, to your boyfriend.
I hope so. At least I've been doing it to the best of, I don't want to say to the best of my abilities, but I've of course experienced with Chris many times that through our senses or through my senses, I'd be able to get to know him better. Like when I touch him, when I feel him close to me, when he takes me in his arms, when he holds me tight in the night, when we cook together, when we sit out at the breakfast table together and it's a lovely sunny morning, that sort of experience, or just the way you're just, putting your arm around Shia, this is just what I'm seeing. It's just such a gorgeous experience to be able to do that and feel the sense of connectedness that can be there in those moments.
You know, I just have this feeling, Christina, that you are so intelligent that your internal conversation is so quick and so intelligent that you say all the right things. And I'm not sure that you are there in the moment. I'll tell you what I mean. It's easy to know the right things to say, but when you're really in the moment, things get very quiet. And
I see you smiling and nodding just as a
Yeah,
this is an audio, so people are like, "Woof, what's he saying to her?" Yeah.
yeah,
thank you. I didn't want to interrupt. I
Yeah.
just wanted to be listening.
but I don't have proof, but it's my sense that you are very quick to finish my sentences in your head. I just gave you the opportunity to do it. Did you? When I said finish, did you have words?
I did.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's all right. There was no right answer or wrong answer.
It's just,
Okay.
I hate to squelch your enthusiasm. And at the same time, I feel like your enthusiasm is a do, that you've got it down. You know how to do and being enthusiastic. And I'm not sure that you know how to do being still.
I might not. Thank you for referring me to that. I remember that the other day, Naz said on a podcast, or maybe it was some time ago, she said, I do a lot of do. And I felt very much in line with that. Maybe that is sort of what you,
Yeah,
maybe that's what you mean.
it's like this. Your enthusiasm can be a shield to keep from hearing something you're afraid might be said.
Or experiencing vulnerability, a level of vulnerability that you might not be comfortable with.
Right, because people are not always comfortable with vulnerability.
Thank you. That might very well be the case.
Well, I
So,
see you being touched. Like there's
Oh,
see, I don't want to dim or curb your enthusiasm when it's genuine enthusiasm, but I think at times you do enthusiastic as a way of shielding yourself or protecting yourself in uncomfortable situations.
maybe that's, maybe, yeah, sure, why not?
As
I'll
a
just say
possibility.
probably yes.
And if you see it without judging yourself when it happens, then you can be more genuine in your experience of living rather than trying to do it right. Because you see, I know you try to do it right.
Absolutely.
You know, it's fun.
You're right.
As I was talking to you, I know people can't see you, but I'm watching your face like blossom. Like the smiles are becoming genuine. Everything is less measured. It's like you're really coming out from behind your face, as if the clouds are, I love what you said, Georgette, because I don't think that if when Christina thinks about herself, that she thinks about herself as a genius.
Right.
Not really.
Yeah.
But with transformation, I have at least, or not at least, and with transformation, I've been able to think less in many moments.
Mhm.
Did you say think less?
Mhm.
Think less,
Well,
yes. Think about myself less.
well, here's the thing. If your mind is a machine, a survival machine, like a computer, it's a lot easier to think of a computer not as a machine, but it is a machine.
Hmm.
And machines produce
Yeah.
the same things over and over again. And so if your mind is a machine that is designed for your survival, like all our minds are, then it's trying to do it right. It doesn't give you an opportunity to discover your okayness as you are. See, I know that at times you doubt yourself
Yes.
and you don't want that.
No.
Yes. And so then you try to be more than you feel.
Yes.
And so if we're talking about sensuousness, where you're allowing yourself to feel, then that doing of being enthusiastic gets in the way of your true or genuine feelings.
Because sometimes you're blah. Yeah.
Mhm.
My relationship with food, for example, is very interesting. Uh, there are times Shai makes breakfast for us virtually every day, and he always arranges it so beautifully. And then there are times where we might be a little more rushed, or a little more tired, or a little less, I don't know, awake, where we're filling the void, where we're going through the motions of eating breakfast. And then there are other times where we're actually genuinely tasting the food, or seeing how it disappears from our plates and how the plates still are arranged. uh, and I think that's true about everything, whether it's being touched, seeing things.
See, here's the thing. If that happens naturally as you're eating, you notice that,
Look,
that's great. But if your internal conversation is telling you to notice it,
you should notice the food. You should slow down and taste your food.
yes, if
Oh yeah, I can see that.
then you're not there. You're in your thoughts trying to do living your life right rather than just living your life.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's about allowing yourself to be okay being you exactly the way you are. And I know, given your job as an interpreter, as a professional interpreter, you've got to be looking for the perfect right words.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
so,
Not just the right words, the right everything, the right behavior, the right mindset, the
exactly.
right concentration.
Well, that's all great when you're working. But if you're working on yourself that way, it's not so great. It doesn't allow you to blossom into who you are. It's a repeat of what you've learned the right way to be is, which doesn't allow you to blossom into this amazing being that you are. It's always like you're wearing a mask rather
Mm.
than trusting that you're okay being you. And I've wanted to say this to you from the day I met you.
Which only says you're more available than you know.
That exactly. That
Because
we can even have this
Shia
conversation.
has no interest on working on anyone, and that we can have this back and forth where you're genuinely listening, and it's registering in a way that your face is opening up.
Well, look, sweetheart, you're okay. Okay. There's absolutely nothing I have that wants to change you. It's like,
Yeah.
but you see, you listen to a voice that wants to change you.
I keep hearing
Yeah.
a song. There's a song, I'm not sure who sings it, but it's in our playlist. And it's like, you're amazing,
Oh,
just the way.
It's
Bruno,
Bruno
Bruno
Mars.
Is it
Mars.
Bruno Mars?
Yes. I was listening to that song yesterday.
No wonder it's playing in my head, because I keep seeing you, Christina.
And also in Hamburg.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
remember that stuff
Well, see,
gets,
she gets audio
yes,
recordings in her head. So,
right.
but I'm hearing that you are amazing, just the way you are.
And you see, your voice that you listen to is trying to get you to be amazing rather than realize that you already are. There's a saying, don't fix what isn't broken.
Yeah.
And it's as though our minds are constantly trying to fix us as if we are broken and we're not.
Yeah. Can I ask one follow-up question?
Please.
How will I know a moment in which I am really being myself and not fulfilling the thought of
Very,
how I
very
would,
brilliant question. Perfect question from a mind that wants to know how to be a better mind. See, you won't know, but you won't care
okay.
either. See, that caring to do it right is part of the program that says that you are not enough the way you are.
Okay.
See,
Yeah,
look,
I can see
Christina,
that.
I get goosebumps talking to you right now because there's absolutely nothing you need to do differently. You just have to be okay being you.
And if you're not okay being you, be okay not being okay being you.
That's great. I love it.
Eventually, it will neutralize itself.
And in the meantime,
Yeah.
party on, do that.
That's right. You stole my words.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Thanks
Thank
so
you.
much for
You.
being with us today.
Truly a
Yeah. It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Uno.
Now it's your turn. Let's hear what one of you listeners has to say about being here in the transformation community.
This is Naz from Farringdon in Oxfordshire, and I love to invest in myself and attend Living Made Easy seminars, listen to the Being Here podcast. It gives me such a sense of well-being, and I've discovered tools and possibilities that have totally transformed my life, my relationship, and my sense of well-being.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We have many bites at the apple, meaning we have several Living Made Easy seminars upcoming this Saturday, next Monday evening, and then on Tuesday is the bilingual evening seminar for those in the European community. You can find out what's good for you at transformationmadeeasy.com and join us for one of these 2-hour Living Made Easy seminars.
They are life supportive.
They really are. Our next weekend seminar is in person.
And it's called Creativity and Intuition. It's in New Jersey on August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. That's a Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. It's happening in Newark, New Jersey.
At the New Jersey Performing Arts Center. Beautiful venue. We'll have fun. Our seminar after that is Transformational Time and Project Management. It happens via Zoom. It's a Saturday and Sunday, not the whole day, just a chunk of it, which will be fun to play together. It's the 28th and 29th
of September.
And then, of course,
Costa Rica.
It is happening in January for 1 week or two. Really a sensuous environment to just relax and be with yourself and be with other folks. And you're invited. Shall we take our next guest?
Yes, we should.
Let's do it. Utah, welcome to being here. Where are you zooming in from?
Hi there, this is Jutta. I'm zooming in from Hademstorf, a small village in Germany, in the northern part of Germany.
Said that so well, Hademstorf.
Perfect.
And I heard it, maybe it's because we've been listening to Christina, who's a professional listener. I heard it well enough that I felt like I could reproduce it. That was very fun.
And you reproduced it very well, and it's very difficult even for Germans to remember, to recall that name. It's quite unusual.
Well, it was interesting though, Jutta, when you said it with the intention that we could hear it and understand it.
Well, you said it. You said it with us in mind.
And like it mattered.
You said it like it mattered. You know, frequently people introduce themselves and they say their name is a throwaway. What if everything you do matters. Not to put a pressure on you, but everything you do produces effects in your universe. And what if it all matters? How you go about this moment affects how your universe shows up tonight. Oh, you're in night already. Later tonight.
Yeah.
That's right. I actually I have that opportunity from you to really say who I am, where I'm calling in from. I remember you mentioning that years ago. I don't know when. I don't recall the exact situation, but I remember that, and I loved it very much to say that everything matters and to take care of people listening to me, to not throw things away, because then I know it from my mind. I notice it from my mind. If I hear something and I don't catch the essence of a word, my mind keeps thinking and figuring what is it, and it's difficult to let go of that.
Very good. That's great.
Mm.
Because if you don't get it, then you're stuck looking to figure it out and you stop listening to the rest of what they say.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's so good.
It wasn't too long ago, well, when we were in Hamburg last, our friend Dagmar was laughing with us because we were trying to produce the sound, ooh sound, that is for fizzy water, Sprudelwasser. And I couldn't make the sound. I was having so much fun laughing. She was laughing. We were all laughing. And the other day I texted her, hey, I'm practicing the word. It was so much fun to try and get my mouth to work with a sound that doesn't appear or isn't heard in the English language. It was just really, really fun.
It reminds me of the topic of today's podcast, sensuality, because that's also different senses included, and to take care of how do I say something, I can feel it in my face, in my throat, in my heart.
I love you say that you can feel it in your heart, because that's not something, as we were talking, that I expected you to say. But as you say it, when you introduce yourself and you're really connected to us, I get that it happens in your heart as well. Like we connect up. It's not just, hi, I'm Jutta in Hartemsdorf.
I used to do that.
Look, we've known you for quite a while now, and I love what's happening in your life with your relationship, in that you've become available to your life, and your life is now giving back, giving you opportunities to have love. That's very cool. But it all stems from your willingness to be vulnerable. Because I know when we first met, vulnerability was not one of your strong suits. And I don't mean that as a judgmental thing. I mean it that it wasn't something you knew how to allow yourself to have. And you've developed an ability to be available and vulnerable to your life, which is allowing for those things you've craved and didn't know how to have.
That's very true. Yeah. And when I look back a little bit, I don't want to look back too much, but it was very different back then. I mean, it's more than 10 years ago when I first met you in 2011. So it's like 13 years ago, something like that. And I used to be, back then, I was in a relationship as well, but I mean, it worked out as it worked out, but it was a very different relationship than it is the relationship I have nowadays. It's very different. It's nobody's fault, but I used to be quite reserved, I still want to do everything right, but I see a possibility to have things or me
Oh, she
be
froze. There.
yeah.
It was like, I see, I want to be me. And then you froze for a second. What?
I was being me. And and I can see now in my relationship with my boyfriend Ingo, I can be how I am, and I have that automatic thought like I can't be that emotional right now, but I am, and it's perfect. It's not that I screw anything up. It's the opposite. He's just like, "Hey, honey, don't worry. I love you anyway." And it's
Well, I want to correct something there. He doesn't love you anyway. He loves you.
And he loves you any
way
you
are.
not anyway, not in spite
Not
of
in
it.
spite of, because the way you said it, it sounded like it was a fault in on your part that you were emotional or whatever.
Yeah, it's more, I love you just the way you are.
Yes. Maybe that should be the title of this. Yeah.
Another time.
Another time.
You know, I was thinking, you know, as you said, I don't want to go back too far. That only happens when we judge who we were back when. I recall, as you talking about that, how reserved you were, and that the physical, emotional, the mental tightness, rein you had on yourself, which is a perfect way to talk about it, because you are a horse enthusiast. You have a horse, you ride. You
2 horses.
Yes, you competitively ride, and you used to have such a tight rein on yourself. And now there's this relaxation. And I even recall how you used to fight with yourself about allowing yourself the degree of passion you had for being with your horse at the time. Now I know you have more than one.
That's true. Mm. And it's so sweet to spend time just relax and recently I had at our horse barn, I worked with my horses, but it was not really work. It was just pure relaxation and joy. We have that thing you call a round pen. It's yes. Like a round paddock, and you let the horse go there. And I just let her walk and trot and gallop, and the whole atmosphere was just beautiful. I was just being there. The horse trotted around. The sun was it was almost sunset. A friend of mine stepped by, and we just talked about anything. I don't know whether it was important or not. It was, and it wasn't at the same time. It was just so beautiful. I get goosebumps when I think about it.
I'm so happy for you. I really am. You know, that you're allowing yourself. See, and that's a big thing. It takes courage to allow yourself to discover who you are rather than wear that suit of armor that was given you in your enculturation process. You know, that you're born into a culture and then you take on that culture's reality. But what I see happening for you, Yuta, is you're discovering you rather than that suit of armor that you were given. You know, allowing you to be vulnerable.
I also really love your description of speaking with your friend, where everything you talked about was important and not important at the same time. And that's my experience of seminars with us in general, or the podcasts. Like everything we're talking about with you and that we talked about with Christina is just so rich and ripe, and yet none of it matters, and it all matters, and none of it matters, and it all matters. It's like there's something so wonderful about that,
about being alive.
Yes.
Life is the gift.
Mm-hmm. It truly is. What a treat to be with you today.
Thank you, with you too.
Mm. You can subscribe to these podcasts. You can share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our newsletter too. You can find all our courses and newsletter sign up link at transformation.com.
Made easy. You got it.
Next week's podcast, grr or great. It's up to you. We'll be back next week.
Sometimes I like grr.
And sometimes you like great.
I always like great.
We'll be back next week. Come on back. Don't miss
Being here.